Okay, let's go. Let's go.
We got some interesting topics to talk about today.
Yes. Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of the Say When podcast with Alex Treeshin, my lovely producer, wife, Amy, eating a noodle bowl in the middle of supper here. But there's been a lot of shit going on the last week, in the news and kind of, around the world, and even in our own personal life, trying to get some home care for my dad in the middle of a pandemic, which is an absolute nightmare right now. But there's a ton of cool stuff going on right now online. So we figured we'd come to you guys, talk about it. Eventually, it'll obviously be a few days late, so fucking whatever. But we got to talk about it. So we finally got to watch the Oprah Winfrey interview with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, which was eye-opening to say the least for most people. This was everything they said in that entire interview was something that was not a surprise to me. I'm kind of on the fence of a 1,200-year-old monarchy. You can't expect them to really be that forgiving in some certain spots. But it is new times and people have different expectations, right? With race and things like that. What did you think about the interview? You were the one who turned me onto it.
I thought a lot of it was expected in terms of, saying that, it was quite lonely at times. Like, I would always assume that because essentially your freedom's taken away. You're told what you can and cannot do, where you can and cannot go. So it's, in terms of that, it's that what I expected.
But you didn't expect the blatant racism.
That was shocking to hear. But, I have to side with them. Like, I really respect their decision to leave
100%.
And, kind of do things on their own. The fact, though, that they're kind of, like, rescinding his status and, all of his, like, military awards or something like that, they were saying. So
yeah, it's very odd.
That's kind of...
That whole piece is so shady. Thank God both those people had the courage to come forward. I mean, Prince Harry is probably on a hit list right now. I can guarantee you he's on somebody's hit list. That whole monarchy and the matriarch of this whole thing, a lot of these people are puppets. The people who are playing behind the scenes are the people that you need to be worried about. I mean, you look at the Queen and these people's net worths, upwards of like 525, I can't remember what it was. I was reading online. Billions of dollars, right? And then for them to cut him off like that, and not provide his biracial son security and not allow him princeship.
Yeah, that was messed up.
Yeah.
There's like no excuse for that.
And the fact that Oprah's jaw dropped when she heard that, I mean, that's when I first thought. I was like, is this really a surprise? Honestly, like when you look at it, like, is that not a conversation a British human I could only imagine what being in the royal family is like, but you become very accustomed to certain things. So maybe there's that uncle or duke that's 95 years old that says, I wonder what color the child is going to come out as. And is that going to be a problem? How odd.
It shouldn't be a problem.
It's not a problem.
So messed up.
Yeah, it's so messed up. Yeah, but are any of us really surprised by that? I mean, 1,200-year-old monarchy, right? You have to think that there's some deep-seated things that potentially transpire. I mean, Princess Diana and Meghan's symmetries are almost parallel, man. If she would have stayed on that same path, you're looking at, who knows what could happen. I mean, and they even expressed that in the interview. But yeah, Oprah was my favorite part about that whole interview. She was just, she's back in business. I think she never left.
She only resurfaces for like the really really good like
that's right.
interviews, like the high profile.
Yeah, and stuff. I loved at the beginning of the interview. She's like, "You are not being paid to say anything on here, or you're not being paid by the network." And she's like, "Nope." And then they're like, "And it's not scripted." So she's like making sure she covers all of her bases, and then just all the hard hitting issues, and she's just blown off her seat. Yeah, that one cracked me up. Twitter's going crazy. Twitter is like absolutely flabbergasted. Everyone is saying, take down the monarchy, and it's like, how was this conversation about these two people who managed to escape and got completely riddled? I mean, you know, no money. Harry gets stripped of his military status, something that he earned, whether he was fucking girls in Nam or whatever he was doing, flying planes and doing anything like that. He earned it. Okay? Now, that's really, you know, the weird stuff that happened there. The fact that they wouldn't cover, you know, security for their son. Just some very odd things going on that I don't think, really, if anyone were to talk about it, I don't think anyone was going to be surprised about. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah,
very interesting. You think the royal family is going to stay quiet, or if they're going to have a response?
I don't think there's a need for a royal family. I mean, in 2021, I was telling you about this earlier. I was over at...
No, but that wasn't my question.
Okay, sorry.
Do you think they're going to have a response to this interview?
No, I don't think so.
They're just going to keep quiet and...
Yep, because there's always been a certain public perception about how these people act and how everything's very structured. Like there's, you know, everything's church and then everything's tea and then everything's very structured. But there's a perception right now about somebody where, you know, it's almost like anything they say at this point is probably just like, okay, well, you know, the tabloids are they're in the pockets of the British family, right? The monarchy. They were talking about, you know, certain relationship statuses with British tabloids and things like that. Like, not good.
Yeah. I think they're going to release a statement like they did when Harry and Meghan initially left, how they just released a statement.
Yeah, it could be, which is not worth the paper it's written on.
I'm kind of... Well, somebody's essentially like writing it for them, I feel like.
100%. Like I said, the Queen is not the one making the decisions. And God bless her. Everyone loves her. Everyone absolutely loves her. I mean, her and Meghan even said they had a great relationship. But you can get it. You can get how the Queen digs it, right?
Yeah, so that was the thing that they said is that they've been talking to his grandmother like more than ever. They have a great relationship, which is good to hear.
Yeah, it's good to hear. Yeah. Yeah. And whatever Oprah's doing with Weight Watchers, it's working. She looks fantastic.
She looks really good.
She looks fantastic.
For her age.
It's working. Yeah, so however many billions of dollars she's made off that, but you know, the actual people using Weight Watchers are struggling.
Did she actually use Weight Watchers?
It was something like that. Yeah, I think she signed a fucking $19 billion deal with them. So, start off the episode with that. That was fantastic. This entire episode really was supposed to be an hour and a half of me talking about how I want to take a picture of my asshole and make it into an NFT and sell it for $16,000.
And I said I would not sit here for that.
And she... Hey, okay, so the last episode I said that she's just a producer and that's all she does? No, she definitely... She definitely has an opinion on the things that we need to talk about. So the whole episode is not going to be about an NFT of a picture of something on my body, right?
No.
Okay. But we will talk about the NFTs and the digital currency because Twitter's going nuts with the NFTs. There's crazy stuff going on right now. I was looking online. There was a rare meme of a cat with a Pop-Tart body flying through a rainbow that sold as an NFT for like $150,000.
And he literally had to explain what an NFT was to me.
And we'll get into that. We'll in post we'll kind of show you guys what an NFT is, but in layman's terms, or at least as best as I can explain it, because it's literally something that fucking just happened. But like card companies and collectors and basketball cards and hockey cards and any sort of collectible company, I think it's called Top Shots on basketball trading, has started doing what they call an NFT, which is basically a non-fungible token, which to the best of my knowledge means that it is non-fungible. So it means that it cannot be traded for something in equal value on some sort of term. I saw a video where they said like, okay, if somebody gives you a $10 bill, they can exchange back 2 $5 bills, and that's an equivalent type price, right? Like that's a fungible asset, right? Gold is something that's priced. A stock is something that's priced. Anything like that. Non-fungible assets being like even tickets to like a concert, where you can kind of barter with that. Even though you paid $80, you could probably sell it for $260. It doesn't matter. It's whatever the person wants, right? So that's a non-fungible type thing. But the weird fucking thing about this is that it's all online, so that it's, you know, Bitcoin and anything that uses you know, blockchain technology, anything like that, it has a footprint that's verified by somebody, and thus you are the owner of that piece of equipment. People are doing like, I think the Kings of Leon did an album on an NFT that sold for like $6 million. So everyone can listen to the album, but you're the person who owns the footprint of that album, so it costs you $6 million.
He literally explained it to me like 5 times, and I watched a video and I still don't understand what the hell it is. So
yeah, it's bizarre. We'll put some stuff up, but a lot of people are doing it, right? Like Top Shots for basketball. So yeah, I figured I need to get on the craze.
I feel like it's completely worthless thing.
It's 100% worthless. Yeah, it is literally worthless. People are selling archived tweets on NFTs, and then you own that piece of digital real estate. There's people online. So this is the best part. Millennials cannot afford property on planet Earth, right? Or Gen Zers or Gen Xers, yeah. We bought a house, yeah. But some people in our group, they're not good either. But the generations even, you know, after us, they're gonna have a hard time getting any sort of land. But you never know. Now with the pandemic and downtowns are completely desolate and office space is completely gone, you could just see, you know, a whole bunch of fucking 22-year-olds renting out a fucking cubicle for, you know, or buying a cubicle for $20,000 or $30,000. So we'll see where that's going to go. That's going to be an interesting one too. But where was I going with this?
The land that they
buy. So they cannot afford property on planet Earth. But there's people who are buying plots of land in the cyberspace on an NFT and owning that. And then at some point that becomes tradable. That is now a form of digital currency, right? Blockchain protected, very close to Bitcoin, Ethereum, all that other stuff. So it's fucking bizarre. But you know, if I can capitalize it, and if I need to get a picture of my asshole on an NFT and sell it for $16,000, I don't think that's a problem. So essentially, someone owns that digital stamp.
Essentially, there's no value in owning it unless you sell it.
Unless you sell it, or you can trade it. I don't know who would want to. How is that going to work in the future? You're going to be like, oh, I have an NFT of some random guy's butthole that I paid $16,000 for. What do you got?
That's what
and he's
I'm
like,
saying.
oh, he's like, I got a digital Charizard. It like dropped in value. He's like, I paid $8,000 for it, but he's like, I think I could sell it for 16. So you end up trading a Pokemon card for a picture of my butthole. in a real estate transaction.
That's what I mean. Like,
I love it.
Who wants it?
That's fantastic.
To begin with, like, it just makes no sense
It's
to
so
me.
yeah. So get on the train. Get on the train with the NFTs right now. Create your own digital footprint and let somebody own a piece of you. Okay? that's what it comes down to.
Oh my god.
That is. Yeah. So that is fantastic. A bunch of 21-year-olds living in office high towers in downtown Calgary or Edmonton. I could see that happening.
Hmm?
Who the fuck is going to work in the near-ish future? But for the most part, who the fuck is going to fill those towers?
Yeah.
Nobody has any money. Companies are pissing millions of dollars down the toilet every single day. Margins are not what they used to be. Rent is going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are you going to do? It's almost the perfect conundrum now where wealth from the top is saying, oh, fuck. And there's a new opportunity coming in for these guys to own maybe a cubicle in TELUS Tower.
I actually did hear about this a little bit closer to, when was it? Like, maybe it was summer. But they were actually already starting to convert office spaces that weren't selling into apartments.
You have to.
Yep.
The market is cutthroat out there, especially. And you hear horror stories, man. Like, you know, all throughout Canada. Like, downtowns are desolate. Where did we go? We went and stayed in a hotel. Downtown. In downtown Edmonton. Went for a beautiful meal. And the hotel that we were staying at was a fucking ghost town. The city we were in was a ghost town.
Yeah. Just like looking out on the street, like we were right next to the mall, which is usually really busy.
It's really busy. So to put it into perspective, last time we were there, I think there was a murder outside our hotel. Like people were screaming. I think I heard gunshots. Like I heard someone getting stabbed and screaming. We couldn't sleep all night. We didn't hear. There was none of that. The streets are bare. You know.
Yeah.
In the hustle of the city, you know, you hear someone be getting choked out or yelling help from outside the window.
Yeah, no, it was quiet. There was
Yeah.
tumbleweeds rolling down
Honestly.
the street.
So yeah, that's nice in a sense. Really sad to see always, but yeah, that's downtowns, man. I mean, what are they gonna do? It's time for the young kids to kind of come and take over a lot of these cities. You know, a lot of the people are leaving these cities, and they're gonna be left with basically a bunch of fucking TikTok kids running our downtown. They're gonna turn it into a massive sway house or whatever the hell it is in California, where it's just a TikTok house. Where like all these content creators are kind of on like one floor and you know, everyone's collaborating. It's just all digital. They don't even want to leave their fucking apartment anyways, even though the pandemic's over. That's strange times coming.
Yeah.
It's odd.
Hmm.
My dad's been stuck in his apartment for the last 6 months. We found out the other day that he hasn't left his apartment in over 6 months. He's relatively old. Stubborn as a goddamn mule. Would never ask for help and would never even take it. So we've been working with him. He's all the way in Ontario. It's about 5,000 kilometers away. So trying to function and get him some sort of help and home care has been interesting, especially in the pandemic. And with him being so stubborn, they even told me, they're like, you know, we'll call once, we'll call twice, but if Leo doesn't pick up, like on the third time, they're like, we're gonna close the case, and then you're gonna have to start this all over again. So I gotta make sure I call my dad and be like, pick up the fucking phone, and whatever you want, just let them know. If you're not comfortable with something, just let them know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually been really interesting, you know.
And it's bizarre because at 30, like, not something we're expecting to deal with already is planning for our parents' care.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's tough.
It's definitely been eye-opening because, you know, you're in your 20s. That sort of thing seems so far off that you're not even thinking about it at all.
Honestly, yeah. It's always in like the back of your mind, but until that day comes, and it's never like a see your kid walking moment where it's just like happens. It's so gradual that like, you know, you almost don't prepare yourself for it. Now that being said, like my dad is relatively far away, and like, you know, as much as I love him and everything like that, he's far away, and we have so much going on right now. Like everyone knows, it kind of gets into your back of your mind, but like it becomes such a gradual process. Like it's never just one day that it happens. It's like over a period of time, and like the pandemic hasn't helped at all, you know.
Yeah, we wanted, you know, to visit a lot of our family that's outside of the province, and, you know, we're kind of stuck in limbo.
Yeah.
Waiting. But, yeah, it's been interesting coordinating this stuff from out of province.
Yeah. I talked to my dad on the phone the other day, and he's like, yeah, you know, he's like, I got a guy here. And, you know, he gives me a hand, he gets my mail. You know, sometimes I give him my credit card and he gets me groceries, and sometimes I'm missing like $400. And he's like, I was like, okay, well, Dad, we got to stop at that point. He's like, no. He's like, so sometimes I got him to get me a pair of shears. And he's like, I looked like fucking Burton Cummings. He's like a BTO. And so he goes, yeah, so I tried to cut my hair, and I fucking gave up halfway through. And I was like, well, Dad, you must have like finished the job or got somebody to do it, right? He's like, no. He's like, I fucked it up so bad. And I was like, okay, well, how long ago was that? And he's like, oh, it was about 3 months ago. So like, I could only imagine what my father looks like right now. And like, you know, for us to be able to help and get him a little bit of help, and now that he's receptive to it, old Russians want to die alone on their couch watching MASH. That's their like their biggest wish. You know, cigarette and a good coffee, and, you know, a good episode of MASH, and that's all they really want. And then for anyone to try to invade on that is going to be in trouble. So I totally see where he's coming from, kind of. But yeah, it's been interesting, and it's a lot easier than I think. If anyone's looking for that, or if you have a divorced dad who lives by himself on the top of a Pizza Hut, you could, it's so easy, right? Like you just need to call the normal number and just make sure your dad's not stubborn as shit. But so yeah, I feel good about that. I feel like it's nice that he's coming around with that, and it really helps with you too, because you, with the nursing background, understanding home care, how to go about those processes, helps so much. So
yeah, definitely insider knowledge helps, but yeah, it was honestly like just a matter of finding the right link to apply for funding for an assessment and the care, and it's just finding the resources is half the battle.
Yeah, that's right. What else? So that's current. That's kind of current events. You know, the Oprah interview, Meghan Markle, the old switcheroo on Kate Middleton. Everyone knew she was a stuck-up bitch. Everyone knew, right off the bat. I saw something on Twitter that said like, you know, the reason Peppa Middleton stole the show was because she was such a white whore.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But it's so true. She's got no personality. How does your sister steal the show at your own wedding? Because you have no personality.
Or, you know, the royals don't let you show any personality.
Yeah, she's in trouble.
You're just to wave and smile.
Yeah. Kate, if you need help, you know, it's almost like Melania, but blink twice. Like, we know you're fucking, we know you're in that little box, and if you need help, just, you know. Yeah, we know. So, yeah, we talked about the Oprah interview. We talked about NFTs a little bit, digital currency. I'm still going to look into getting an NFT and see where maybe we can go with that. You know, you can make anything an NFT, any video, and it's really a just a digital footprint. You just own it. So we talked about that. I encourage you guys to make your own NFT as well, or at least look into it. I mean, it's an absolute fucking hoax. But if someone's gonna buy, you know, a picture of you screaming baby shark into a fucking wine glass for 15 grand, I don't see any reason you shouldn't.
Well, to make it, yeah.
Yeah.
But to buy it, no, don't.
Yeah, don't buy it.
Don't.
Yeah. But you should buy mine. Because it's not, that one won't be a hoax. That's something that will appreciate in value. Okay, so.
Yeah.
We're going to the mountains next week.
Yeah. Taking the boys skiing.
I haven't skied in, it's got to be close to 15 years, man. Rabbit Hill, an old Rabbit Hill, and just pizza and all the way down. So I'm pushing 33 for me to be able to go down a hill. And so like, we got to take Oren and Caden too. And Oren's like, he can snowboard, but every hill that we go down is not the same size as being on the side of a mountain. And he just fucking straight down, like straight down, no curving or nothing. He can stay up the whole way. But if we're going to be doing that on a mountain, he's going to go right off.
Slice somebody in half.
Yes, either slice somebody right in half, absolutely eat it, or just straight off the side and just gone. So we had to get him a slope rope, which is the funniest thing ever. If nobody hasn't seen it or heard of it before, it's basically a massive skipping rope, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically a massive skipping rope that you put around your child.
His waist.
Around his waist, and harness him in and just go down.
Like he's pulling you like a sled or something.
Yeah. So I got to do less work, use his momentum and the gravity to get down the hill, and make sure that we all make it down in one piece. But yeah, we're super excited to get out to Banff, spend a weekend down there.
Yep.
That's gonna be exciting.
Social distance weekend.
Yep.
We're gonna be wearing our masks on the hill.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm excited because I also wasn't skiing since high school. And then I went with Caden on his class field trip like 2 years ago. And it's seriously like riding a bike. I was just like zooming down the hills and like zooming right past him and his friends. Cause like now I have no fear. Like when I was a kid, I was so scared. Like I didn't have that perception of, or you know, the laws of physics or whatever. But now I just like, I'm so comfortable in my body and I know exactly like how to move. So yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah, I took that video of you last year. You were doing a backflip off of a 12-inch kicker.
Yeah, that's not true. But I have told him that I'm gonna just rock the moguls and he does not believe
Yeah,
me.
no, I don't believe that, man. Anyone who has, like, every single person who's done moguls now is like, yeah, I've had 2 knee replacements and then my wheelchair's on fucking back order. Could you imagine?
So we'll get the video for proof, but I'm gonna attempt some moguls, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a big difference between absolutely crushing the moguls and, honey, I'll attempt the moguls.
Yeah, and just to be
So-
clear, I've never done moguls in my entire
Yeah,
life. But
which is even, like, I mean, you know which way, right?
But I've watched them on the Olympics.
Yeah,
And
which is what matters, and it's what counts, and if he can fucking do it, then why can't I?
that's right. I'm just gonna
So, yeah.
wing it.
So I'm actually really excited about that. Yeah. I know my limitations, and yeah, I'm gonna have 911 on standby. It's basically down that hill, so I got to start getting out and stretching, I think, a little bit and getting ready here. But
Oh yeah, you're gonna need to stretch.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you
100%.
don't pull a groin.
So yeah, everything's inside the country, or inside the province at least, for the foreseeable future. We have some plans to maybe go down to Vancouver if we don't get our window smashed out by British Columbians or Vancouverites. Somebody keys my BMW, I'd be fucking furious. Just heard a bunch of horror stories from right in the thick of the pandemic, hey? Like when everyone's supposed to be coming together and whatever else, and like you maybe just venture over to British Columbia or whatever else, just get your tire slashed, get fucking, some guy throws a massive rock through your window, leaves you a nasty note that says, go back to your fucking province, you incel.
It's only a small number of people
Yeah.
over there. To be clear, like most people from British Columbia were actually like welcoming to people, and they want the business, right, for their economy.
Yeah,
their
the
tourism.
professionals. Every professional wants the best for the economy, right? It's the incel writing a note about an incel is where really the trouble starts, right? Where someone's just looking for an excuse or looking for a fucking Alberta license plate. So I don't like that. I don't like that whole piece, but you know, maybe we'll get out. So
Yeah, we'll have to see how things go. I'm getting more comfortable with staying in Alberta, to be honest. Like last year, I was so choked that we couldn't go to BC because we had plans to go there for like a year for my birthday and to visit some family. But of course, the events happened, and I was very upset.
There was a man from Alberta that got stabbed and thrown into the Okanagan.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, they said, "Where are you from?" He said, just outside of Edmonton there. Cheverny. Yeah, so you gotta be careful.
But now, like this year, I'm actually okay with like just going to the mountains and like exploring Alberta more. Like,
Yeah.
It's a beautiful province. So.
Yeah. But not forever.
No.
So the only logical thing that gets us out of that is the vaccine passport. Everybody's been talking about the vaccine passport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have what would you call it? Progressive views on the vaccine passport, right? Would you say that we're if that's what it takes to go wherever the fuck you want?
I mean,
do you need them?
Yeah, well,
is it new technology?
I would be open to it because, then you feel safe. Everybody's vaccinated. Yes. Like, there's no person who's gone rogue. Like,
Yep.
I mean,
it's how a lot of countries have navigated through this pandemic already.
But I guess the boundaries are unclear, right? Because where do you stop? Like,
that's right.
Are people who are vaccinated never allowed to leave the country again? Like, we'll let them leave, but other countries won't let them in. Like, it's a huge.
I think the problem
ordeal.
is the problem is the scale, because what we were watching today, there's a ton of countries, and now they're in places that a lot of people don't like to go or would have to go on travel, or sub-Saharan Africa and things like that, where you need passports for yellow fever, you need passports for dengue fever, you need to prove that you've been vaccinated for this, because they don't want that disease to get out into that country, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is the problem that everyone has to grow accustomed to that, or is the problem that the thing that you have to grow accustomed to isn't that bad? What is it?
Well, the problem is that you've lived in Canada your whole life.
That's the problem.
Have had no diseases in your lifetime that have been an immediate threat.
You've had nothing that's threatened your freedom before. Yeah, and you have a problem with it.
And now, yeah,
maybe not you.
No, but in general, it's hard to swallow when nobody likes change, right? Like,
no, and it does suck, and everything sucks. For the kids, it sucks for us, it sucks for every single human being. The fun conversations that I have to be like, what were you supposed to be doing this year? Talking to so many people who'd be like, I'm supposed to be in fucking Mexico right now. Yeah, the fun conversation is like, yeah, what did you have planned? What did you think was going to happen right now? Hey, that's not happening now. Those are always good conversations. But
that's depressing to talk
about. Yeah, it is. It's so good. You get them like right back into the thinking. They're like, oh yeah,
Yeah, don't friggin' remind me. Maybe
that's
what they're thinking.
Were we supposed to be somewhere right now?
We're always supposed to be somewhere.
We're always supposed to be somewhere, but
yeah.
So, but yeah, no, vaccine passport. Like it's not. It's fucking new news because it is new news. It's because it's new news because we're in a pandemic. It's old news. That's a lot of countries have had that. They're just places you don't want to go to, or have to have a reason to go to. So Nigeria, all these countries, certain places in South Africa, right? You need some sort of proof of vaccination. So if that is the case, And if you're talking about it on a global scale, I mean, you're talking about creating like a second-class citizen, right? Somebody who can't do this because they don't have that, which I think I'm fine with. If that's the way, if I'm being honest, if that's the way it has to be, I mean, would it be permanent? Probably not. But like, if you want to take advantage of the time that you have now, it will most likely be that way. So it's either get on the fucking bus or don't get on the bus. The people who don't get on the bus will still figure it out. We're all human beings, man. People will jump walls. People will do whatever they have to do and fucking prove that they got into this country and have been partying unvaccinated, get arrested, hunger strike and whatever the fuck they need to do. But people will make it through it. And then eventually we won't need that. So it's, it's probably short-term pain. I mean, I've never had a problem with vaccinations. We both come from a science background. The science is simple. It's smart. The science is simple and smart. So it just makes sense.
Yep. Pro-vaccine passports.
Yeah. So yeah. That concludes, I think, for the most part, our first episode. What else do we have to get into? We talked about, the podcast art. We dropped the first podcast art, which had a lot of good praise. Jason was pissed about, but that's okay.
His got booted.
He's got booted, yeah. It's still in our hearts and in our minds. I'm still going strong. Everyone's still got to go strong with the lasagna posts. I did a couple the other day. I think one of them even got a like from some random guy. He's just like, yeah, this is what I needed today. Definitely keep going with the lasagna posts on the fake news and the QAnon and everything like that. Just see how much traction. It's actually pretty fun. See how much traction that recipe can get. You might get like a subreddit thread off your recipe. So I got the same guy who did my first podcast drawing. His name is escaping me right now because I got his name wrong in the fucking first place. Jeff Kang. Yeah, Jeff Kang Artistry, or Kang Artistry, on Facebook did a fantastic drawing of me as a horse, and it's the best thing I've ever spent my money on. So he's working on another one for me. We got that coming. What else do we got coming, honey?
More episodes.
Yes, more episodes. That's right. So, yeah, that's it. Okay, that's what you get.